Hello there, very good evening. Welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Before we take a look at your stories in detail, here's a look at your top stories for tonight.
Kottu, rice packets and milk tea to be increased by 10 rupees. Bag of cement to increase by 93 rupees. CPC running at a loss. Fuel prices must be increased. A statement from Minister Gammanpilla. Government to disburse funds for regional development. 100 million for each chairman of a regional development coordinating committee. 40 backbench MPs write to the President requesting for the fertilizer ban to be relaxed. If we don't get fertilizer in time, we are doomed. The plight of the farmers who took to the streets. If you cannot continue, hand it over to someone who can. Opposition leader reiterates to the government.
With the prices of gas cylinders, wheat flour and milk powder increasing, owners of bakeries and restaurants have decided to increase the prices of rice packets, kottu, milk tea and bread.
Restaurant owners convened a media briefing today and brought with them a number of items that will be subjected to a price hike.
We decided to increase the price of a packet of rice by 10 rupees. Thereby, the price of a packet of fried rice and kottu will be increased by 10 rupees. Also, we will increase the price of milk tea to 60 rupees to ensure that the industry can be sustained. Prices of short eats will not be increased. However, we will have to increase the prices of rotis. There are many people who depend on this industry. These people must be provided with some concessions. The government has placed the entire burden on the general public without limiting their expenses, and they have also allowed companies to decide the price of goods. Innocent people have been cornered by this and are now forced to eat only one meal a day.
Bakery owners announced that the price of bread will also be increased.
The All Ceylon Bakery Owners Association has decided to increase the price of a 450-gram loaf of bread by 5 rupees. Our association has not yet decided on the prices of other food items other than bread.
After the control prices on a number of goods were removed by the government, companies announced the revised prices of gas cylinders, milk powder and rice. This evening, the new prices of cement and wheat flour were also announced. Serendip Flour Mills and Prima Ceylon Private Limited have decided to increase the price of a kilogram of wheat flour by 10 rupees with effect from today. The price of a pack of cement has been increased by 93 rupees to 1098. The price of a 400-gram powdered milk packet was increased from 380 rupees to 480 rupees. Litro Gas has also increased prices of gas cylinders with effect from midnight yesterday. However, this morning the company announced that the revised prices have been adjusted by 75 rupees. Thereby, the new price of a 12.5 kg domestic gas cylinder is 2,675 rupees. A 5 kg gas cylinder was priced at 1,071 rupees, while a 2.3 kg gas cylinder has been priced at 506 rupees. Lav's Gas has also increased the prices of their domestic gas cylinders. A 12.5 kg Lav's gas cylinder has been increased to 2,840 rupees, while a 5 kg Lav's gas cylinder is now priced at 1,136 rupees.
The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation and the subject minister today announced that the price of fuel must be increased. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation bears a loss of 14 rupees and 56 cents for every litre of petrol sold to the market. The loss has increased by 31 rupees and 46 cents for diesel. The first thing that the CPC must do at a time like this is to increase the price of fuel in the country. So we have drawn the minister's attention to this. The Ceylon Petroleum Corporation is expected to bear a loss of 10 billion rupees for this month. If this continues, the CPC, government nor the economy of this country will be able to bear this. We will not have funds to import fuel then. What will be left to do thereafter? When the prices of fuel is increased, people start criticizing it. I told them to raise the consequences instead of criticism so that we will provide a solution to it. The CPC is bearing a great loss at the moment and cannot continue to do so. We have informed the Cabinet of Ministers in this regard. If the Cabinet of Ministers can provide a solution to this, they will do so. Otherwise, we will increase the fuel prices. We do not do things indiscreet, so we have informed the chairman in front of the entire country.
යන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා. අපේ හැංගිවරා වැඩ නැහැ. කෙලින්ම සභාපතිතුමා රට ඉදිරියේම ඉල්ලීම කරා. ඕන කෙනෙකුට ඕන වෙලාවක අස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. මම වැරදක් කරන්නේ නැත්නම් මම ඉල්ලාසීමක් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Against such a backdrop where it was proposed to increase the price of fuel as the CPC is facing losses and does not have enough funds to purchase fuel, the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna says steps are being taken to provide funds for projects of Chairman and Vice Chairman of Divisional Coordinating Committee and projects of Pradeshia Sabhas and Grama Niladhari divisions.
Minister of Finance Basil Rajapaksa will present his first budget to the Parliament on the 12th of next month. In a historic move, he has allocated a huge sum of money for welfare and development. According to the program, a Gram Niladhari division will receive 2 million rupees. Provincial Council division will get 3 million rupees. A vice chairman of a divisional coordinating committee will receive 20 million rupees. A chairman of a divisional coordinating committee will get 100 million rupees. Through that, we can revive the economy. It has been around 70 years since the country got independence. The people of this country have always prioritized themselves over the country. We are facing a pandemic. We are not in a situation to impose laws to control anything. This is a time of a global pandemic.
The Samagi Janabalawegaya alleges that the government is allocating funds for the provincial council elections at a time when the public has been severely inconvenienced due to the price hike of essential items.
We suspect that they allowed this price hike in an attempt to fool the public by reducing prices of goods in the future during the provincial council elections that is due to be held next year to impress India. When the provincial council elections are held, they can't visit the villages. Provincial councillors representing the government are given 100 million rupees as funding for development. Electorate organisers of the SLPP, who are not members of parliament, are deputy directors of the organising committee. They are given 20 million rupees. Government funds cannot be given away like this. They are doing this to impress India.
Janata Vimukti Peramuna points out resolving public issues is more important than holding elections.
The president, addressing the 72nd anniversary of Sri Lanka Army, said that he would bring a new constitution and he would change the electoral system. Changing the electoral system or bringing in new constitutions are not the need of the hour. The people are unable to purchase bread. They are unable to switch on their gas cookers. The price of goods has increased. The farmers' crisis has intensified. At a time where the people are in dire straits, the government is planning to opt for this strategy and cling on to power. That is the hidden intention of the discussions they hold. Now the people are lining up against the government. Regardless of any of these theatrics, the people have understood their game. The people cannot be deceived by false promises of elections and constitutions. The people are facing the massive challenge of making ends meet.
The leader of the opposition said today that the government, which has failed to manage the economy, should allow those who can afford it to rule the country. This government has no plan to control the economy. The people of this country are suffering. The farmer is destitute and the fisherman is destitute. The burden of living has been placed on the common people. Do mothers receive the triposha now? When the prices of everything, including gas, milk powder and cement, are going up, if the government is washing their hands, claiming that they would not control prices, then the people will question why a government like this is needed. I urge the government, if you cannot do it, give it to someone who can. We in the Samagi Janabalawegaya are ready to bring real Sajid Premadasa expressed these views while donating hospital equipment worth 2 million rupees to the Tantirimale Regional Hospital as the 31st phase of the Janasuvaya project in line with the Vipakshen Husmak program.
Is the government preparing to hold the provincial council elections? Basil Rajapaksa made known the government's stance on the matter when he attended the meeting of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Election Laws recently. The provincial councils are functioning. We believe that these institutions being controlled by a single person is wrong. If everyone can unite chairman, we can formulate the legal framework for the provincial council elections to be held soon. The Pradesh Sabhas and the Parliament is functioning. We need to bring a delimitation report as the Supreme Court has informed us that we cannot hold the election under the existing laws. So I believe that it will be good if we can focus more of our attention on holding the provincial council elections. The amendments to the Provincial Council's Election Act is the impediment to holding the election. Since the delimitation report has not been approved in Parliament, the possibility of holding the elections under the new system is very low. The government has now focused their attention on holding the Provincial Council elections under the old system. The government has decided to hold elections. We will amend our program according to the needs of the people, show the results and go for an election. The Attorney General has given us clear advice that without passing an act in Parliament, we cannot hold elections. We want to hold the Provincial Council elections before March 2022. The statement released by the Indian High Commission following the Indian Foreign Secretary's tour of the island stated that the provisions of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution should be implemented, expediting the steps to hold the Provincial Council elections because of India's influence. That is a myth. The Indian Foreign Minister did not pressurize us to hold any elections. The Indian Foreign Secretary does not have to come to Sri Lanka for that decision to be made.
Leaders of the government constituent parties, Uday Gamanpila and Vimal Weerawansa, also spoke about this today. The 13th Amendment is a part of our constitution. If we like it or not, we have not been able to hold the provincial council elections because of legal issues in the electoral system. India was always asking us to hold elections. It is not something that was said recently. We cannot push the country to an election while we are limiting public gatherings. We need to decide on that after assessing the impact it had on the people's health. It was an opposition MP, Mano Ganesan, who announced that the next provincial council elections are going to be held. The cabinet is the body that decides on behalf of the country. There was no discussion or decision reached on holding the provincial council election at the cabinet meeting. However, the Tamil National Alliance continues to say that it is India's request that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution be implemented and the provincial council elections to be held. During the discussions that we held with the Indian Foreign Secretary, we made two requests. One was to hold the provincial council elections and the other was to fully implement the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. He showed great interest in this matter, and after he left the country, there was a startling statement that preparations are being made to hold the provincial council elections as soon as possible. Therefore, we believe that it is because of pressure exerted from India that the provincial council elections is now going to be held. There are many others who are preparing for the provincial council polls. Former Chief Minister of the Northern Province, Pillayan, expressed these views on the matter. During my first speech in Parliament, I made a statement that it is only through the provincial council system that we can devolve power properly. The activities of the TMVP party is important to secure power in the Eastern Province. We must secure this win. Our party is ready to make sacrifices to achieve this.
An LTTE inmate who was incarcerated for over 12 years was released from prison today. Prison spokesperson and Commissioner Chandana Ekanayaka said the detainee was arrested under the Prevention of Terrorism Act and was identified as a 29-year-old from Akkarepattu in Ampara. The detainee, who was held at the Colombo Magazine prison, was released yesterday following a PCR test. The Supreme Court today decided to take up the fundamental rights petition filed by former Western Province Governor Azad Sali, seeking an order for his release under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. It was taken up before Chief Justice Jayantha Jayasuriya and Justices S. Thurai Raja and Yasantha Kodagoda.
We'll cross over to a short commercial break and be back with more news.
TV1 News First, main sponsor.
Students complete the ACBT University Entry Foundation in 8 months for 288,000 rupees.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Let us create a society that empowers girls to win the world by overcoming all odds. This message is brought to you in line with the International Day of the Girl Child.
Welcome back to the news. Will farmers receive the fertilizer they need to cultivate for the Maha season? This question is yet to be answered by authorities. Farmers took to the streets today as well to raise this issue once again.
A protest is organised at the Hatamuna paddy field in Hinguragoda this morning. The Giritale Farmers Collective also staged a protest today. The Mahavali organisation to protect the rights of farmers joined hands with farmers to voice their opposition at the Dehiyatta Kandiya town.
Mr. President, please convey this to the Minister of Agriculture. We have never used feces in our cultivations. Please tell him to provide us with good fertilizer. We don't want fertilizer mixed with feces from overseas.
Our cries are falling on the deaf ears of authorities. There are plans in place to bring down organic fertilizer, but there is no date of distribution. They announced something today and something else tomorrow. Agrarian organizations in Mochiagama and Rajangane staged protests demanding fertilizer and pesticides. This government has made the farmer a murderer now. They said in the recent past that we have poisoned the people. Was it us who brought hazardous fertilizer from overseas? It was the previous government that brought these hazardous fertilizers.
40 backbench MPs of the ruling faction handed over a letter regarding the fertilizer crisis to the president today. One of the main problems faced by people in rural villages is the fertilizer crisis. Irrespective of it being organic or chemical fertilizer, if the government decides to use organic fertilizer, we support that. There is an issue in the plan to distribute organic fertilizers to the farming community. We have handed over a letter to the president highlighting the need to directly discuss this issue with him. The convener of the National People's Council, Chamira Pereira, expressed his views on the matter. It is the responsibility of the head of state to listen. Amartya Sen has said that you must listen as governors, you must listen to others. Veterans in the agricultural sector, experts, the media, farmers and even agrarian organizations pointed out the seriousness of this to the president, but the president completely disregarded this. The president has deprived the people of the rice that they eat. The hero who came to save the nation has now brought the nation to a state where the people have to starve to death. This is not a mistake. This is a crime. Chairman of the All Ceylon Nurses Association, Venerable Muruthetwe Anandathera, met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa to hold discussions on the teachers' principal salary anomaly issue.
The Prime Minister's office in a release said that Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera has met with the Prime Minister along with a group of representatives of teachers' trade unions. Minister of Education Dinesh Gunawardena had also participated in the meeting.
Even though I have tried to resolve this issue, being an intermediary and placing my trust in the President and the Prime Minister, this is delayed due to certain opinions, theories and traditions of some people. Today I called on the Prime Minister and requested to provide an acceptable solution for teachers without prolonging this issue. Therefore, the Prime Minister has been able to convene a discussion with the teacher trade unions at 12 p.m. tomorrow and arrive at a conclusion.
The teachers' trade unions raised claims that the Prime Minister had cancelled the meeting with them for a meeting with Venerable Muruthettuwe Anandathera.
On one hand, this is contradictory. On the other hand, we can see that various other factors have been encapsulated in this. If anyone is willing to intervene in the matter in an attempt to solve it, thank you very much. It is not mandatory for the Teachers Principals Trade Union Alliance to solve it. If this issue is going to be solved at the end of the day, we will not oppose it. But it should be a solution that could be accepted. The trade unions in question have to make the biggest contribution in this endeavour. The others who have interfered in the matter have not informed or requested permission from us to do so. As the Teachers Principals Trade Union Alliance, we have not assigned any faction to speak on our behalf. Until we have been provided with a solution to our problem, we will continue our struggle. That is all we have to say.
The central bank today announced that it will not proceed with its plan to buy back $1.5 billion worth of international sovereign bonds that are maturing next year.
On the 1st of this month, the central bank governor announced that the central bank was, quote, considering the possibility of buying back the entire issue of ISBs maturing in January 2022 and July 2022 if high discounts are prevalent in the market. However, in a statement, the central bank announced today that its initiative to proceed with the buyback of the 2022 ISBs will not yield a successful outcome given the appetite of ISB holders to hold the ISBs issued by the government of Sri Lanka. The central bank went on to note that there was no tangible interest from the bondholders to sell the January 2022 ISB maturities at the discounted price that prevailed during the latter part of September 2021, thereby indicating that buying back a significant volume in order to enjoy a reasonable cost benefit to the issuer would not be possible. The inquiries also revealed that not even 5% of the outstanding January 2022 ISB maturity was available for sale at the discounted prices that were quoted. The central bank stressed that such investor behavior signifies the continuing confidence in Sri Lanka's ability to honour its obligations and maintain its unblemished record of debt servicing.
Masked triggerfish continue to wash up along the southwestern coast of Sri Lanka. The All-Island General Fisheries Federations raised concerns as to if this phenomenon was caused by the prolonged effects of the Express Pearl disaster.
Fish had washed up on the shore yesterday and today. We do not know why they died.
The National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency, or NARA, confirmed that many masked triggerfish had washed ashore along the coast from Mirissa to Hikkaduwa. The fish had begun to wash ashore since this Friday along the coast, including the Ahangama beach and the Bentara beach. NARA is conducting an inquiry into the incident to ascertain the cause of the death of these fish. Officials of NARA had collected the corpse of these fish along a 300-meter stretch along the Ahangama beach on Friday. The All-Island General Fisheries Federation convened a media briefing today and spoke about the matter. We have suspicions over these incidents where fish have washed up along the shore. This could be something that happens usually, But all of us, including the fishing community, are suspicious as to if these fish were killed by the toxins that were released from the ship carrying chemicals. The government must investigate this and publish the report on what really happened. National organizer of the All Ceylon General Fisheries Federation, Ratna Gamage, also questioned the government on whether their promise to pay compensation to fishermen after the Express Pearl disaster was kept. Officials of the government said that compensation will be provided to the fishermen who were affected by this disaster, and also 22 other sectors that were affected by it will be provided with compensation. They said that the $720 million of compensation from the shipping company and funds from the government will be used for this. Has this compensation been provided? How much did you pay as compensation? Also, is this the only compensation that the shipping company is giving us? Aren't they going to pay additional compensation? How have you intervened in this matter? Reveal details of these things.
Development activities at the Muthurajawala wetlands have always been contentious because of the damage caused to the biodiversity in the area in the process. Many factions have also raised concerns as to if such development activities can be carried out in the Muthurajawala wetlands under the existing legal provisions in the island. Against such a backdrop, this is a report of an ongoing development project at the Muthurajawala wetlands.
Muthurajawala is a marsh in Sri Lanka in the southern region of the Negombo Lagoon, 30 kilometers north of Colombo. The marsh, known for its unique and highly diverse ecosystem, spans across 1,285 hectares. It was also named one of the 41 internationally important wetlands in Sri Lanka by the Asian Wetland Inventory. A development project is currently underway in the area bordering a stream in the wetland. The fishermen in the area allege that this development project has affected their livelihood. The project is being carried out on a 30-acre landmass. Construction of a small waver, a canal and a bridge have already concluded. This is how the people explain the issues that they are facing as a result of this development project. They are cutting through the banks. They are going to construct a canal. Fish will not breed. There were many species of birds here before, but none of them can be found here now. They are constructing two massive canals from either side. Can such a thing be done in Muthurajawala? We just want to know who authorized this. The natural environment here has destroyed and now they are planting trees artificially. Muthurajawala is a natural biodiversity. There is no need for anyone to plant artificially here.
When this land was filled, water filled up in my house. I had nothing to do.
Moving on to some global headline-making news, Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen says that Taiwan will not bow down to pressure from China and will defend its democratic way of life. This statement comes at a time amid heightened tensions between the two countries. Of course, the geopolitics involved in these exchanges have raised tensions not only between these two countries, but in the entire region. And as I said before, the geopolitics involved will inevitably have an effect on Sri Lanka as well. Primetime news on TV1 for tonight. To follow details of these stories and more, you can log on to our award-winning website, www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Charlotte Benedict for the Newsfirst team. Take care and God bless.